What's going on, beautiful people? So when we were shooting the podcast live, I was getting ready to give my take on what I didn't respect, and the audio kind of got disconfigured, so I had to come back and reshoot and make sure I got it to y'all. In the process of figuring that out, I was also moving, so that's why my wall looks blank compared to how it originally looked when we shot live. But nevertheless, what I did not respect this past week is not seeing Kendric Davis on the NBA mock draft for this upcoming NBA draft class. Kendric Davis is a point guard from the University of Memphis under head coach Penny Hardaway. I consider him to be a point guard, the point guard of college basketball this season. He was the most sought after player in the transfer portal. And to not see him on the NBA mock draft on NBA.com. It rubbed me the wrong way. Obviously started to think the politics and that yada yada yada. And the only thing I could come to believe is that the reason he may not be on anybody's NBA mock draft or the NBA mock draft on NBA.com is because one, he's 6 foot, and then two, he's been playing college basketball. He's a fifth year senior, right? And so sometimes with that and the one and done coach is like, well, if you ain't ready to go to the league after that first year, it's like, hey, bro, good luck to you. So there's that stigma if you're not a one and done. And then also him being undersized as a 6 foot point guard in the day and age where in the NBA, we're looking at the 6'6, the 6'8, the 6'5s, the 6'9 point guards. Um, and I think for a team to minimize his potential as a player based off his size, that does a great disservice to what Kendrick Davis has done at the collegiate level, showing that his game can transfer over to the NBA. Right, understanding with the respect that the game evolves. Players who have served in the NBA, not served in the NBA, but players who have played more than 1 year in college and have proven to be champions and superstars in the NBA. You got a player like Stephen Curry who played 3 years at Davidson. Dame, he played 4 years at Weber State. Then you have it's slipping my mind. Fred VanVleet from Wichita State, he played 4 years. And I use those guys in particular because they're around that same size and a frame, around that 6 foot, 6'3" frame as Kendrick Davis. So thinking about players like that who have spent a multitude of years at the college level and seeing how they've been able to transition over to the NBA and become all-stars and become champions, I think that's enough reason and substance to pay a closer look to Kendrick Davis. Right now, with the University of Memphis, Kendrick Davis is averaging 22 points per game, 5 assists, and 2 steals. On top of that, last year he was the American Athletic Conference Player of the Year. In him being a 5 year senior, every year Kendrick has been in college basketball. Each year he's increased his points per game. Um, and also, too, he's not a stranger to having a multitude of assists in a game, right? So with his size, right, Kendrick Davis is extremely quick. He can get to the rim, very crafty with finishing over bigs, despite his size. He can shoot the three, he can shoot the mid range, and most importantly, those intrinsic qualities of a point guard, he dictates the flow of the game. You never see him sped up in a game. You never see him being forced into doing something he doesn't want to do. He controls the tempo at a very graceful pace, and he allows the game to come to him and creating for his teammates. Like I said, with him being crafty and getting to the rim to be able to finish, he could also create for his teammates and dump it off or lob it up. So Kendrick Davis is an absolute bona fide, I believe, a superstar, like I said before, a point guard in the NBA. And just be on the lookout for Kendrick Davis. Giving that he gets a shot, gets an opportunity to come into the NBA, I believe he will really shock people. I don't believe he's on enough people's radar other than Rashad Phillips, who is great with providing the right language, the right vocabulary in the times that we are, considering how much the NBA has grown and expanded and evolved. So salute to him because he has given Kendrick Davis his flowers and proper respect. But for those out there who don't know him, bro, please don't sleep on dude. Please do not sleep on dude. He's only one of 2 point guards, I believe, to hit the University of Houston with a 31 ball. And Memphis born Memphis won their conference championship this year by defeating Houston, who was a #1 team in the NCAA tournament. So with Kendric Davis being able to take out a premier team at the college level, and just being a 6'1" point guard, being able to dominate and just influence the game the way he has at his size, I think that's to be commended, and I think there's a ton of room. You talk about projecting what a player will grow out to be. I think there's a ton of room for him to continue to evolve, and not just capping his career off at a great collegiate player, but growing and evolving into a great NBA player. Chris Paul, another guy, around that 6 foot 6 foot height, size, and frame, who's been able to been able to just control the game, control the tempo. J Kidd, look how J Kidd has been able to, over his years, control the game with just his passing. So I believe Kendric Davis has all those attributes around his game, with a ton of room to continue to grow and dominate and become an even more greater player, transferring his game from college over to the NBA. Get Kendrick Davis on your draft board, but even if you don't, shame on you. It is what it is, because like I said, I mentioned Fred VanVleet. That's a player who went undrafted, but nonetheless, he's become an All-Star and an NBA champion at the point guard position. Keep your eye out on Kendrick Davis, and I did not respect him not being on the NBA.com's NBA mock draft, but I look forward to seeing Kendrick Davis in the future in the NBA. You heard it here.